Alright guys, and welcome along to my channel, All Skool Gunner. I hope you're keeping well guys. Welcome to this YouTube live. And yeah, Gareth Southgate guys has stepped back as manager of England with immediate effect. Yeah, crazy goings on there. I mean, yeah, what can I say? Absolutely crazy goings on guys in regards to that and the team. Yeah, I expected it to a certain point, I expected it that it would happen, but in the end, I mean, crazy happenings there with England, absolutely crazy, and that he would go so fast, that he would decide it was for the best that he should actually step back. Yeah, what can you say? Football's a funny old game, as they say, and he saw it best that he actually steps back from the role as England manager. Not an easy decision to make, I'd imagine, for the man. It's been his life for how many years now? I mean, the England manager's role has been his whole life for how many years? Completely threw himself into the job. I'm, of course, an Irish football fan, guys, but I'm an Arsenal supporter. But yeah, I think he did the right thing by resigning. Yeah. I think he did the right thing by stepping back. No doubt in my mind with regards to that he did the right thing and he made the right decision. It had to be that way. It had to be that way. Not much more to say about it than that. I mean, I wish him all the best for the future. I hope things work out for him. Of course, losing out the way he did in a second final in a row couldn't have been easy for the man. But that's football sometimes. That's football, unfortunately. And yeah, they got found out in the end. Yeah, when it came to a real crunch game, when they had to step up against a very good team. Unfortunately, it was a step beyond for them. Just one step too far. They couldn't quite get there. Unfortunately, it is what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people around the club will be relieved that he's gone, not having to dig at the player or the manager. I'm sure a lot of people around the club. We were damn lucky in this European Championship, and our successes have been in spite of him, not because of him. What's everyone England's Icelandic nemesis being the new Ireland manager? I'm happy enough. I think he's better than what we've had in the past. And big up to Manny, yeah? And I hope you're keeping well, man. I'm happy enough. I think he's better than what we've had in the past. I'm happy. What more can I say? Definitely an upgrade on Stephen Kenny, for example. All due respects to John O'Shea. I'll be forever thankful to him for the way he led the team during this difficult period and the way he accepted to stay on and to help the team further when they hadn't found a replacement yet. I think the new manager is very, very good, and I think he'll take us a long way. How far remains to be seen, but I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with this new manager that's coming in for sure, 100%. I think he'll take us places, no doubt. Here's hoping that we can go do something. Yeah, well, we're qualified anyway for the Euros in 2028, so we don't have to worry about that as we're a host country. But the World Cup, do we have hopes of actually getting through? That is the question. Can we actually make it through? Is more the question. That would be the thing that I would be asking. Hopefully we can actually make it through. Get through to the World Cup. That would be nice. I mean, it's over in the United States and Canada, I believe. So that would be nice for the team, for the players, for everybody involved if we could actually make it through. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see the way things turn out. Difficult one to call, to be honest. But I hope that we can make it through to the World Cup. Like I said, the Euros were already a shoo-in. We qualify as a host. We don't even have to think about that. But the other one, it would be nice to make it through, for sure. It would be nice to actually get through. You know what I mean? That would be a big thing for us. Big thing for the country. We haven't been there in a long, long time. And it would be great to see us actually pull ourselves through and qualify. Let's see what happens. Here's hoping, yeah? Here's hoping. But I hope you're keeping well, and I hope you're not too disappointed about the result, the performance. Yeah, you can see Gunnosaurus there just out of shock, guys. I don't think he's too disappointed either. But yeah, I hope you're not too disappointed about the result anyway and the way things went. Um, of course, a difficult one, yeah. 2026 might see you have a chance with more teams being invited to play in the finals in the Americas. Aim for that. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Here's hoping. Here's hoping. But it is definitely not going to be an easy one for sure. It won't be easy, that's for sure. But here's hoping. Yeah. Here's hoping we can go and get something. We can actually pull ourselves through and get through. It's going to be interesting. There's no doubt about that. And with this new manager, I think he's got something. Yeah? He's a good coach. He's got something in his locker. And this should mean that the likes of James McLean and Jeff Hendrick, among others, should not be part of the team's plans. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. James McLean has got a big mouth, very little talent, but a big fucking gob on him. He's got a big gob, as we say in Ireland, but he doesn't have. He has very little talent. You know what I mean? Regardless of what he thinks himself. Yeah, he has very little talent. Yeah, but he's got a big mouth. So there you go. As an England fan, I'm disappointed, but truth be told, we weren't good enough. Yeah, they fell at the final hurdle as such, but definitely there was definite problems there, should we say, that hadn't really been addressed. Southgate as manager, I mean, he was never good enough for the job, in my opinion. But look, to get them to 2 successive finals, a lot of people are saying a lot of different things on social media now, yeah. But for now, I think the man needs to be given respect for what he's achieved. He should not be vilified in the media in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion. And yeah, the man needs to be given his respect. He needs to be treated a certain way for what he's done. He probably should have left the job sooner, a bit like Arsene Wenger maybe back in the day. But the man needs to be given his respect for what he's achieved, for what he tried to achieve. It's a difficult job, yeah, being an international manager. And if anybody doesn't think so, they're not living in the real world. It's a very difficult job. And that's all there is about it. Southgate did his very best. He did what he could. He tried to pull the team through, maybe get them over the line, winning ugly, so to speak, if that had to be the case. But he did his very best for the country. We say the same thing in England too. To be fair, he earned over 100 caps for Ireland, but he's not fit to lay Steve Staunton's boots. James McLean was never a good player, and he's got a big mouth on him. He's got a lot to say for himself. You know what I mean? He's nowhere near the level of some other players that have played for the country. He's got a lot to say for himself, yeah, and he can be an explosive character. Many Irish people, yeah, he can be hot-blooded. He can be difficult, and to be honest, you know what I mean? I'd take everything he says with a pinch of salt. I'm not saying he didn't do a decent job. He was never going to be the person to take us over the line, and he proved himself to be too cowardly. Yeah, it's a tough one, man. I mean, right now, anyway, at this moment in time, you know what I mean? People should just thank him for his service and he's gone anyway now, so the question now remains who will take over. I see a lot of people are talking about Eddie Howe and Pochettino. Seem to be the names that are banging about the place all the time. Do England have open season choice of who they want? That is another question. Can they literally have any manager they want? I don't believe so. The England job for me is not that attractive a football job. No disrespect, Manny. It's a hard job. It's a difficult job. It's a job where you have very few friends. The whole thing about him and Declan Rice is stupid, really. He's clearly a bit of a rice switching allegiance to England, but he himself was Northern Irish international. Yeah, he should just let that go now, yeah? He should just let that go. Um, a lot of people in Ireland are annoyed about it. Non-players, yeah, actual people, the everyday people on the street. But nationalism in Ireland runs very strong. If you're in the south of Ireland, anyway, if you're in the Republic, the further south you go, to Cork, for example, definitely nationalism is a very strong. It's our identity, and people are very open-minded, and they speak out about things. They're quite outspoken. But James McLean, I mean, he's not the poster boy for Irish football. He's not anything special, and his opinions are his opinions, but they're nothing more than that. I mean, if James McLean thinks that he's anything special or important, he maybe needs to he maybe needs a wake up call. You know what I mean? Because he is not as important as he believes, I think. He's not a player that I ever considered, to be honest, at any level. I mean, he made a bit of a name for himself. He's a bit of a boy around the town, but as an actual player at a footballing level, he never really did anything of note, you know? All he tends to do is mouth off and talk about things. That's my thoughts on him. Yeah, there's a little bit of rivalry between Cork and Dublin, but that's because Dublin is the capital and Cork is the second city. And back in the day, we were the ones that sent up most of the warriors when there was a fight, and when there needed to be things done. With the English, for example, a lot of people came from the south of Ireland, from Cork, for example, and they laid their lives on the line for the country. More so than in Dublin, in my opinion. We're a bit more fiery than them. They're a little bit more capital city diplomacy, whereas we're a little bit more, it's time to pick up the gun. And at that time, it was time. You know what I mean? There was no way about it. There was no other way to do things. So there's a little bit of rivalry there because they are the capital city and we are the second city, and we see ourselves as the real capital because of our what we did in the fight for Irish freedom. And that's basically it. And there is a rivalry between Cork and Dublin, but to say hatred from Roy Keane, sure, probably. He is a hot-blooded individual. And he comes from a real working class area of Cork City called Mayfield. And my cousins are from Mayfield. I lived there for like 2 years, but before moving to the south side. But you know, Roy is Roy, man. Roy is explosive. Roy is a law unto himself. He's a power of nature. James McLean is not. Not because he's not from Cork, not because Roy's from Cork and I'm from Cork, just in general, you know, people will listen to Roy, they wouldn't listen to James. But Roy is a hot-blooded individual, obviously. Not meaning to state the obvious. Roy is a hot-blooded individual. He doesn't take any prisoners. Yeah, they were opposites, yeah, north and south side, yeah. North and south side as well. One from the north side, one from the south side. You know. But two Cork boys. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? Can't say much more than that. But yeah, here's hoping we're going to get through and we're going to do something. The World Cup would be nice if we featured. If we featured over in the US and Canada, that would be nice. 2026, 2028, I'm definitely going to be there anyway. I'm definitely going to be over in Ireland for a couple of games. Yeah, definitely. Well, Roy was Roy was his own worst enemy, as a lot of people know. Roy was his own worst enemy, Manny. He made things difficult too. He was his own worst enemy, I think, in a lot of situations, unfortunately. He didn't do himself any favours, but of course he was called out as well in front of the world's media in Saipan, and that kind of really he had a strong dislike for the powers that be after that, because he was called out. And he also called out the amateur setup of the Football Association of Ireland, which was correct. He was correct in that, yeah. They were amateur. the Football Association of Ireland. And I'm on about an organising for a major tournament, i.e. the World Cup in Saipan. He did call them out on that. Nothing was prepared when they got to the training camp. Nothing was prepared when they got to the hotel. And I'm on about basics, yeah, like when players pick up injuries. There was nothing there at all. Zero. You can be sure with the English FA and the German FA and the Dutch FA, everything was in order when the teams arrived. But the Irish FA, the gear hadn't arrived. I mean, what's the story? You know what I mean? And Roy likes having a bit of a laugh like everybody else. But certain things like that, you can't sweep under the carpet. That was a major tournament they were preparing for. And they had a real chance. They had a good team. In England, I do believe that whoever is the new manager, there'll be a clean slate and every player will feel as though he has a chance to prove himself and maybe earn a recall. Yeah. I don't see Jordan Henderson coming back as the best days are long gone, but surely the likes of Grealish and Rashford should come back because their replacements did nothing. Definitely Grealish anyway. Definitely Grealish. Yeah, look, Rashford, if he comes back and he actually puts in performances, but definitely Grealish. I mean, he didn't put a foot wrong. I mean, you couldn't say anything against Grealish, really. Grealish has got something in his locker that other players don't. And that's all there is about it. I mean, he's good. He's good at what he does. He's a good player, a solid player. So definitely Jack Grealish, without a doubt, 110%. You and I are going to agree to disagree again on that, Dave. Saipan was just an acclimatization trip and the real preparation was much better with better kitchen facilities. Yeah. They should have had something there, though. I know what you mean, but they should have had something there. It's the FAI anyway, bro. Regardless of Saipan, yeah, it's the FAI amateur. You know what I mean? They can't organise anything, man. They can't organise anything. They can't organise nothing, man. You remember, I think it was 1995, 1 year before England hosted the Euros, we had a friendly against England at Lansdowne Road, and the FAI literally sold tickets on bulk to a lot of English football fans without checking their background. Yeah, these guys turned out to be hooligans. They wrecked the fucking stadium. They ripped half of the town. Part of that stand had been there for over 100 years, Manny. That is the Football Association of Ireland, bro. Any bum to fill a seat to put money in their pockets. That is the Football Association of Ireland. A bunch of bums. That stadium had been there, that stand had been there for over 100 years, man. English hooligans came over, ripped it apart. Could have killed someone that night. Yeah, Roy had an attitude, man. I know you're not a fan of his, yeah. And he was wrong to leave the camp. And he was wrong what he said about Mick McCarthy. I mean, he was talking about Mick McCarthy like Mick McCarthy was a fairy boy, a Nancy. You know what I mean? He was talking about Mick McCarthy like Mick McCarthy was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Mick McCarthy came from a working class area, and he was brought up by his bootstraps. He was dragged up as a child. He didn't have it easy, just like Roy didn't. He had it worse than Roy. Roy was trying to paint out that Mick was some kind of snob, posh guy, a guy that had been lucky in life. The last thing he'd been was lucky. He had a tough life and a hard upbringing, just like Roy, harder than Roy. So I don't know, Roy needs to do a bit of a fact check there, I think. But Roy's an explosive individual. When you corner him on certain things like that and you bring him on in front of the world's media, he's just going to turn into a complete, it's just a disaster. I absolutely agree on the FAI. Yeah, Muppets, man. John Delaney, any bum to fill a seat with the FAI guys, regardless of where they come from, regardless of what they are. Yeah, he was a tough Irish Yorkshire man. He was a tough guy. He had a tough upbringing. You know what I mean? Mick had a tough upbringing, and I think Roy kind of maybe didn't realise that. He definitely didn't pay any attention to it. I mean, Mick came from absolutely nothing. He had a tougher upbringing than Roy. So I don't know. Roy was kind of making out that, he got personal about it when there was no need as well. Okay, he was dragged out in front of the world's media and made to look like a fool. I get it. But definitely with a character like Roy, maybe that is not the best course of action. But maybe from day one, Roy didn't want to be there in the first place. I mean, he seemed happy enough to get back to Manchester and to be out of the whole situation. It's unfortunate what happened at Saipan anyway, either way, because we had a real chance then. People will laugh when I say that, yeah, but we had a real chance of doing something in the tournament. We had a fantastic, fantastic squad. We had some amazing players, and they were at the peak of their powers. Damien Duff on the wing. You know what I mean? Robbie Keane through the middle. We had some fantastic players out there. Exactly, Dave Keane never liked playing for McCarthy. Yeah, because he was an Englishman, really. I think that part of things kind of roiled Keane up, yeah. And he didn't rate him. He didn't. Yeah, when we qualified, thanks to Roy, has to be said. When we qualified, thanks to Roy against the Dutch, and we got the point we needed at Lansdowne. Roy in the midfield, yeah, he smothered the Dutch midfield, and we got that point we needed. You know the famous photo. Roy's got his top off. He's walking off the field. Mick comes over to shake his hand, and Roy is looking in the other direction as he shakes his hand. He wouldn't even look at him, and he didn't really want to shake his hand, I think, but he felt he had to because he was kind of forced into it at that moment. Roy's an explosive individual, explosive character. Speaking of that squad, certainly Carson might be in contention to manage the senior England squad. I don't know, man. I don't know. I heard that. Yeah, I was watching the Man United. What's his name? Oh, what's the name of that Man United fan? He has that huge channel. He has like 1 million subscribers. He's a former cop. The little guy. What's his name? The little scrawny guy. He's a little thin guy. Goldridge. Yeah, Goldridge. It's Goldridge, isn't it? Yeah, the United fan. Yeah, the United stand. Goldridge. Yeah, Mark Goldridge. I was watching his, and I was watching a stream he did there. Just got suggested, yeah, so I thought I'd watch it. It was a short enough upload. Yeah, Mark Goldridge, man. He was saying his bit about what he thinks was going on there. He's happy that Southgate's gone, like a lot of people, I think. But he reckons Pochettino or Eddie Howe would be the best man for the job. It's a big job whichever way you look at it, Manny. And they really need to. Southgate is gone now. I don't know who's going to step in as caretaker, but they really need to. They really need to take a minute and make sure that they get the right man in and the right setup. They can't be messing around like that. A bit like what Luis de la Fuente did with Spain. I wouldn't take anything Mark Goldridge as seriously if I were you, but I can see that side of the argument. As for Poch or Howell, only either of those guys would suit the job. Whatever they do anyway, they have to make sure that they get the right player in. Sorry, the right manager in. They have to make sure that they get the right man for the job. And if that takes a little bit longer than normal, then so be it. I mean, they shouldn't rush it, because if they rush, they make mistakes. They need to make sure that they get the correct player in. It's like that. Straight up, yeah. That's all it has to be. They can't be messing around, yeah. Not with the team, not with their hopes. The right manager needs to be brought in, yeah. And like I said, if that takes an extra little bit of time, Manny, then so be it, bro. It has to be like that. If they need to take that extra little bit of time, then they should. Maybe Thomas Tuchel could be an option, even if his Bayern Munich stint has seen his reputation take a bit of a hit. Yeah, Thomas Tuchel maybe, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be an English manager, of course. It's international football now with international coaches moving around the place. Arsene Wenger? That's a joke, Manny. Arsene Wenger, is it? He's going to come in as the new coach. Jesus Christ. That would actually be amusing. That would be interesting, actually. See if he still got it. Arsene Wenger buries England for another 20 years. Now to Switzerland, I really enjoyed watching them in the tournament, and I had them reaching the semis. Several outstanding players, but I wonder if Murat Yakin made a mistake by not kicking Shaqiri. He definitely should have played Shaqiri more. And as you see now, Shaqiri has actually retired. He definitely should have picked him more, yeah, but Shaqiri has now retired from the actual international football. So Shaqiri's gone. 125 games, I think 32 goals. But yeah, those stats don't sum up the man himself. Yeah, definitely underplayed at the tournament, which I feel was a mistake. He got a lot of things right, did Murat Yakin. He, of course, is Turkish Swiss guys of Turkish descent. But he did a lot of things right, Murat Yakin. But some of the things he did wrong, definitely should have played Jordan Shaqiri more. He has that extra quality when it counts, when the chips are down, when the shit's hitting the fan, to actually do the business. And it was definitely a big thing when he didn't play. But now Shaqiri is gone. Now he is retired from international football. Switzerland were much the better team against England, but I suppose they needed more of an edge. Shaqiri was brought in far too late in extra time, and he still really won the game. Yeah, he's the player for the big. He's the player for the big things, like you said. Yeah, he is the player for the big moments, and he will always be that player. He just had that extra bit of nous, that extra bit of bravery, almost bravery, you could say, just to get in there and to get amongst it and to actually smash one in. He just was never found wanting, the way he approached it. It was the right decision for Gareth Arteta to design. Switzerland were much the better team against England, but I suppose they needed more of an edge. That's, I think, yes, it is. Big up, mate. You all right? Gareth Arteta, yeah. Gareth Arteta. Interesting. All right. Yeah, but that's it, guys. A lot of goings on in football, yeah. The Irish have got an Icelandic coach. The former Icelandic coach is our manager. What's his name is gone. And that's how you do it, guys. And what's his name is gone, guys. Yeah, Gareth Southgate is gone. The Irish have a new manager. Shaqiri has actually retired from international football with Switzerland. There's a lot happening, guys, and the new season is around the corner. And what about Arsenal and signings? That is another thing that needs to be addressed. What are we going to do in the new season? Not much. Not if we don't have new signings, anyway. I can't see anything really coming good of that. If we don't get the signings in, I don't think we're going to do much, to be honest. Not in that situation, anyway, in my opinion. My opinion with that current situation, if we don't actually get the players in, I don't think we want to do much. You know what I mean? As such, that's the way it is. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. we'll have to see what happens. It's not going to be easy either way, guys. Not going to be easy. But yeah, already going to wrap up this stream, guys. I gotta go have a shower. I gotta go out and buy some food, and I gotta do a few of the essential things in life. Yeah. Take it easy, guys. I wish you all the best. Take care. Sorry I couldn't put much time into it, but yeah, I kind of stayed in bed too long. I've had a couple of days off work, and I've been so lazy, man. I've just been lazy about the place, guys. But Manny, you take care of yourself, yeah. Great to have you on, man. Yeah, I'm heading out as well, man. Gotta take care of a few things around the city. But you take care of yourself, man, yeah. And AFC, take care of yourself, bro. And thanks for joining the stream, yeah. I'll see you all next time, guys. Hit the like for me, hit the subscribe. If you want to make a donation, I am monetized. And see you next time, guys. Thank you to the two gentlemen for joining the stream. I appreciate it. Thank you to Manny, and thank you to AFC. And thank you to everybody for tuning in as always. And see you next time, guys. Peace.